Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente. Yo, welcome to Daily Discipline 333. I love it, 333. You know I love that number stuff. My name's Rob Hoback. Happy that you're here. Honored and humbled that you keep coming back like for reals. Seriously, I mean, I love this, right? Hey, it's a Savage Saturday. It's a work day for me, work day for a lot of you. We got a football game tonight with Sam. I got lots of work to do today, so let's get after it. First things first, still the realist. I'm also focused, right? Yeah, so bad. Now, what am I focused on? I got a lot of stuff to do today. I got a business plan to put them in. You were here. I threw it down. I said I was going to get it done this weekend, and I'm going to. Even after two other things came up that I wasn't planning on doing this weekend, it is what it is. You got to do your work, right? It's what I get for putting it off. All right. My thankies are I had the night off last night. I had some tentative plans with some friends. They didn't materialize. I didn't push it. So I just stayed right over there. I cleaned out my DVR, watched a bunch of stuff, cried a bunch of tears, did a bunch of thinking. Felt awesome, right? I'm in a much better mood today. I was a grouch all week. I was. Several of you felt it. People I work with called me, "You okay?" Feel like being a dick, right? Sometimes you just get mad. You don't feel like, yeah, this is what it is. All right. So here's my thought of the day. What did I learn watching that TV? I learned all kinds of stuff. I'm going to share it with you now. First things first, there was I love my E60, right? And so I was like, why is there an E60 on here? And I watch it, and it was a special that they aired Tuesday before they showed the Dennis Rodman 30 for 30, which I also watched. But the E60 had two stories. Number one was about the Paradise, California football team. Paradise, California, Northern California, almost the entire town was, with the exception of the football field, of course, was literally devastated by the Camp Fire. Awful. People telling the stories about how they went to school. They left in the morning hearing that there was a possibility that the fire could head their way. There was a spark from a transformer, wind. By 10 o'clock in the morning, pitch black. It was awful. And you see these people taking video of them going down the road. It's just awful, right? Like if you can imagine, like whatever you think hell looked like, a lot of people like that's had to have been what it was like. At 10 o'clock in the morning, pitch black, fire, think you're going to die. Awful, right? And so this story followed that. This was last fall. It hasn't even been a year yet, right? It's completely displaced. They're going to school in a gymnasium 20 miles away, and they got a football program. Unbelievable. You need to watch that. If you think that sports don't matter, and you think I'm just talking out my ass about how this shit, like, it matters. It matters. That's why we got to do the bill. The second thing, this is just fun, just straight up fun, and how sometimes things work out for people. The first live sporting event ever shown on ESPN was a slow pitch softball game between a team from Milwaukee and a team from Kentucky. Played in Milwaukee, and ESPN couldn't find, for decades they've been looking for the tape of that, couldn't find it. Well, they traced it back. They called the guy, the teams, and one of the guys said, "Yeah, I got it." I called up ESPN a couple days later, and they sold it to me for $750. It's been in my closet the entire time. And they showed Jeremy Schaap going to this guy's house and chatting with him. They open up it's like the rest of us, right? Got the room with all your shit in it. Like, I'm going to do something with it. Open up the door. There they are. I can't imagine at the end, they said, hey, look, he agreed to sell those back to ESPN for an undisclosed amount. I'm pretty sure, old boy, like the first live broadcast of something on ESPN, I'm sure he got his $750 back and then some. It's just fun, right? It's just fun. It's just fun. I appreciate that light story after crying for 30 minutes watching the one before. Ooh. All right. Here's what else I learned. I saw a segment on this kid from Florida that wore the University of Tennessee shirt that he made. So he had an orange shirt for the Volunteers. And we can talk about this. We don't need, like, part of the reason I'm sure University of Tennessee got so involved in this is because their football team's so bad. I don't care. They made it right by this little boy. Fourth grader makes a University of Tennessee logo, pins it to his orange shirt, goes to school, and all the Florida kids make fun of him. So the teacher feels bad, does a story about it, says a picture. Next thing you know, University of Tennessee's contacting this kid in fourth grade saying, here's a box of shirts, officially licensed Tennessee stuff. We're going to start making shirts like the one you were wearing, like your logo that you made, and we're going to offer you a full ride scholarship. I love it. Approved. Thank you, University of Tennessee. Now do something with your football team. University of South Carolina, you're next. Your quarterback inspired me, Ryan Helinski, wearing the same number that his big brother wore. His big brother was a D1 quarterback and then committed suicide. Right. Think about that. You watch that story and don't cry, right? So cheer for that kid. Dennis Rodman, holy cow. Usually 30-30s are like an hour. This one was 2 hours long. There was like two parts of it because when you think about it, there was most of us had never heard of Dennis Rodman until he showed up and started producing for the Pistons. And then it was like he was this quiet, introverted person. And all of the guys on the team, like he was like a baby. He was like a little kid. It was like he's still 12 years old. And it was just odd. It was odd in the Michael Jackson odd sort of thing, right? In that a grown man would prefer to hang out with kids because he never got to be a kid, right? And just that was unbelievable. And as I was watching it, I'm like, oh my God, I want Dennis Rodman to come to the Ville and talk to the kids about it's okay to tell people like, hey, I got some thoughts up here. I don't know how to reconcile. And it's okay to say, hey, look, the only place I feel at home was when I'm on the sports field, competing with my teammates. That's the only place I feel like I belong. Every place else, I feel like an outcast. And just remind them, like, this shit matters. This matters, right? Yeah, so there's a bill that is just signed out in California and a couple other, this is another story. There's some other states that are right behind it talking about how kids who are in college should be able to profit from their likeness, from their name. If the university is going to sell a bunch of jerseys, blah, blah, blah. And I got to tell you, it's a complicated macroeconomic thing. I don't know what the right or wrong thing is. It's just going to be interesting. It's going to change the way, semi-pro, whatever, college sports, because a lot of those kids behave like pros, but they don't get paid. And then there's a whole bunch of that profit that goes to fund other things. It's just going to be interesting. Just stay tuned for that. And then two things that don't have anything to do with sports, but I'm passionate about. Number one, the Undercover Billionaire Show. I watched another one of that. That's going to get real interesting. It's getting ready to come to a climax, and you see who's going to step up and who's going to flame out. It reminded me, because they give you the tease of what's going to happen. It reminded me of reading the book Good to Great, in which General Stockdale, who was the dude that ran with Ross Perot for president, everybody made fun of him because he was deaf and couldn't hear. Yeah, the highest ranking United States troop ever to be captive or a prisoner of war. And anyway, so when that guy was talking about being that prisoner of war, he's like, well, the first people that died were the ones that had all this optimism but didn't have a plan. They just like, oh, we're going to be out by this date. And then when that date didn't come, that's what I was thinking of when I was, because there's a couple people like, oh, we got this. Don't worry about it. And he's like, yeah, I feel like I should be worried about it. Those are usually the first ones to flame out, right? Positive without a plan doesn't equal success. Stay tuned for that. And then my favorite, right? I was all fired up a couple weeks ago about how the state of Oklahoma won that lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson. Well, the Johnson & Johnson's a corporation. The Sackler family owns Purdue Pharma. They were a major I believe they were the company that invented OxyContin. And there is an attorney general for the state of New York that is on them. I mean, on them. And I love it. She's subpoenaed back records, and she's finding out that they're moving billions of dollars around because they're trying to hide their money that they made from selling pain pills that killed a whole bunch of people. And now they're like, oh, we don't have any money to pay. They're going down. Love it. I love it. I love the fact that as a society, we're starting to hold people who've done a whole lot of harm to other people under the guise of, well, it's just business. Yeah, well, if it's just business, go take all their shit. Seriously. And I'd like you to put that on TV so that everybody else gets to see that too. Just like when they arrest that kid that sold Tyler Skaggs some bad dope. They need to get him. They need to get the people. Like, seriously, until we start doing something about it, nothing's going to change. And it feels like we've turned the corner. All excited. With that, I'm done for the day. Hands up. Peace out. We're better together. It's a savage Saturday. I can't wait. Hope to be back here tomorrow with some gushing about how great Sam did last night. I just want to try hard. Wouldn't hurt if He was real successful either. All right, I got to go. Deuces. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.